So hello everybody, welcome to one of our regular network webinars for the Ontario network of CAPC and CPNP projects. Today is Friday, January 24th, 2020, and I'm really delighted to welcome you all here to this webinar. Today our topic is an introduction to creating social media graphics. And our presenter is Maureen MacMillan. And Maureen is an ECE college instructor and photographer living and working in Renfrew County. And I'm going to let her introduce herself kind of beyond that as much as she wants. Before I hand it over to you, Maureen, I'm just going to take a moment and make sure everybody's muted here. I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, and I'd also like to take a moment for us to pause and offer up an acknowledgement, a land acknowledgement. Our network is provincial in scope, so we all live and work on land throughout Ontario. And as a network, we like to take some time to acknowledge and thank the First Peoples of the territories where we all work and serve. For sharing their land with us today so that we may continue our work together in supporting families. So just taking a moment to have that awareness and that acknowledgement as we come together and learn together. So with that, Maureen, I will hand it over to you. I'll jump off camera now, but I'm here. So if you need me, you just say.
I'll holler.
Holler, and I'll be here.
Well, welcome everybody. So I'm going to start by just telling you a little bit about myself. So I sort of came about this just very authentically, my experience in this field. When mom bloggers were a thing, my friend and I started a mom blog. We started a Waldorf craft blog called Twig and Toadstool, which was a nature-based blog, which just sort of, we wanted it to gain popularity, and it sort of just got a life of its own. And it gained so much popularity that we ended up being contacted by CBC parents to start writing craft posts for them. So we did that for years, and just in doing that, we really started to learn a lot about social media and the importance of creating posts and getting people to come to our website. Our children have grown up, so we've long since stopped that, but right now I have a professional photography business called Algonquin Photography. I teach a course at Algonquin College called Defining Your Digital Presence, and it's sort of about the importance of social media, creating graphic posts, doing all that stuff. And I work for Early On Toy Bus in Killaloo. So in my role at Toy Bus, I do a lot of their social media promotion. So just so you know who we are and where we're coming from in our promotion and sort of how I'm going to teach this to you. We are a mobile Early On, which means our service area. So we're in rural Eastern Ontario. Our service area is about a 2.5 hour span. So we go sort of to the west gate of Algonquin Park all the way to Beachburg and Cobden, if you know this area at all. Promotion is a huge struggle for us because we need people to come to our programs. We have them in so many different locations. And so social media promotion is a great way to get our message out there to a large number of people and have people know who we are, have people know when our programs are running, and sort of create a buzz about our programs. So that's sort of where we're coming from in our social media promotion. When I saw where some of you guys are coming from, I know that some agencies sort of struggle. They keep their Facebook pages and their social media a little bit private. We don't do that. We figure that people who come to our pages might be a grandparent, they might be someone who lives down the street, and so we want people to know about our programs. It's really important to us just because we rely on numbers for funding. So just very briefly what we're going to cover today, sort of people's dwindling attention spans, the importance of being authentic, your images and why they matter, having professional images, stock photos and where you can get them for free. And then we're just gonna go over some of sort of my favorite design platforms. I'm sure there's more than this, but I'm gonna kind of introduce you to my top 3. So to start, I think before we even get into creating visual posts, we have to understand why they're so important. So I love this graphic because as of now, and this is from 2013, goldfish have bigger attention spans than human beings. So it just goes to show the importance of when you're creating posts. I think you always do it with a thought in your mind that you have to grab people's attention spans. So I'm sure, as with our agency, a lot of us are trying to reach a younger and younger demographic. And I know myself, I'm in my 40s, and I've been affected by social media. My attention span, is definitely not what it used to be, just because we're just so quick, next. So you want to catch people's attention kind of immediately with your social media posts. So I think that's really important to keep in mind as a first step. So the next thing to talk about is kind of just the importance of being authentic. And it goes again with talking about, we're trying to reach a younger demographic. They're smart. I think social media right now is so full of a lot of fake stuff. We don't know what's real and what's not. So in order to get people to connect with you, I just feel it's really important to be authentic. So, and a part of that, and we're going to get into this, is having pictures of your agency, having pictures of your people. So this is a really goofy picture of us, the Toy Bus team, but people love this about us. They love when we show them pictures like this. These are probably our most popular posts, is when we share a picture like this, because they want to see us. They want to get to know us. They want to know that we're fun. They're bringing their children to us. We work in an early on. And so it's just important, I think, to share this with people, to share, to get the message across. Who are you? What are you all about? So the starting point is always your images. So this is a picture of my daughter here. The saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I think it is so important these days to have good quality images. An image can get your message out in a matter of seconds. So it's just something to keep in mind. And now I do come to this because I am a professional photographer, so this is through my lens, but the agency that's sort of in charge of us all, I mean, they have hired me multiple times to come in to do pictures. I think hiring a professional gets people to know who you are. So a lot of the images I'm going to be showing you are images that I've taken, or we've had other professional photographers come in and do some images. In our agency, we don't only use these images for promotion. So I'm going to hold this up. So this was our annual report from last year, and they just decided to do it in a really creative way, and they used images from a lot of our programs. So we not only have an early on in our wider agency, we also have youth programs, we have girls programs, we do senior programming. The images are also used for grant proposals. It's hugely important. Your images they really talk about your agency. I think it's something for people in your community to get to see themselves used in their promotion. It just sort of, I don't know, it creates a warm and fuzzy feeling. So this is so important. And it's not a huge cost for most agencies. A couple $100, you can probably get somebody to come in to take some images of something going on at your programs. And we do understand that we work with vulnerable populations, but when we go out and we do this, it is with the explicit understanding that these are going to be used for promotion. Are you okay with this? We have people sign photography waivers just so just so that understanding is there. So, and people are usually, you know, even though we work with vulnerable populations, most people are honored that you would want to use their image or an image of their child. So, but it's always with the understanding. So these are some of the ads that we've made using images that we've taken at our program. So this was from our a children's Halloween party, and we were able to use this as just a general promotion for our Toy Bus program. And this is another one that we took of a child at play in one of our programs. So again, we like to use these just for, you know, Facebook posts, just to sort of advertise what our program's all about. Sometimes we'll put these up to poster size and print them out, but. And then this is the last thing I'm going to sort of cover when it comes to images. I think a lot of our programs have tablets, and I know our program was like all of their images used to be taken on tablets. Sometimes tablets take really good pictures, as do cell phones. Professional cameras take totally different pictures, but I think sometimes if your eyes haven't been trained to sort of see the differences, you might not know that there's a difference. So it's just when you look at the image on your right of the two children in the tent, it's out of focus. The composition isn't really there. One child's kind of cut off. You know, the light sort of isn't there. When you look at the image on your left, there's composition, there's focus, there's, you know, good light. The image is really, really sharp. So, you know, as you can see, if you're really trying to promote your programs, it's worth kind of like putting the tablet to the side and maybe getting somebody in just to do a, you know, a little session for you at something that, you know, something that you're running. So all that being said, sometimes, you know, it's not in the budget. You might not have the money in your budget. So if you are relying on stock images as a base for your Facebook or print images, these are a list of my favorite free sites. I'm going to take you in and show you a couple of them. So there is Pixabay, Pexels, Stock Vault, and Unsplash. And I'm just going to close this. Just bear with me. I bring this up. So this is Unsplash, and a lot of people, this is kind of the game changer. Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt. We didn't see the shift. I think that's because you need to stop sharing your first, your slides, and then start sharing your, the website you want us to see.
Okay, is the website up now or no?
No, your slide is up.
Oh, okay, because it worked before. I just shut it, because if I minimized it, but no, okay. I wonder if I'm gonna have to just close it right down. Can you, oh.
Right. Yeah, now you're not sharing anything. And so now you can start sharing.
Oh, okay, okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
Well, it's okay, it's all good.
Just bear with me. This is like the joy of the internet, right?
That's right.
Okay. So I think it is this right here. There we go. Can you see it now?
Something's coming up. Yes. I see
Unsplash?
Unsplash.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we've got it. Okay, so we're going to just explore Unsplash. So these are free stock photography sites where people like me who are professionals, they load pictures to these sites for people to use. So I'm just thinking of some of the programs I saw come up. So I'm gonna just do a search for babies. If you wanted just some images to create a poster for an infant massage, a prenatal food program, you know, something to do with infant mental health. So you can see these are lovely, lovely images. And there are just tons. Anything your brain could think of, you could put in the search bar and find an image. And, you know, downloading them, there's a little download button here. You can just download it onto your own computer and use it to your heart's content. There's also this site. This is Pexels, which is another one. These are probably my two favorites. And again, I'm just going to do a search for babies. And again, just like tons and tons of beautiful, you know, well-composed images. So if your agency, you know, if you absolutely can't get somebody to come into your program and take good pictures, these are a great place to go to make posters and graphics or put quotes over them, or, you know, like I said, whatever you can think of. So I think the best thing to do, what I always tell people, go and explore these sites, see what's available. So I'll go on sometimes in a pinch. I just download, you know, I'll download a whole bunch of pictures of children or infants, or, you know, just so I kind of have them in a folder. They're great sites to check out. Okay, so hopefully this works. Hopefully we're back to the PowerPoint. Are we back to the PowerPoint or no?
You are, Maureen. Good.
Okay, good. Okay, we've got this figured out now. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to go on. So this is an ad that we made for one of our prenatal programs using a free stock photo. So there's such beautiful images on there, and I just think this alone will elevate the game for so many of you, just knowing where to go for free pictures. And what does free actually mean? Because sometimes people feel a little bit sketchy just going and taking an image off of there and using it, but free actually does mean free. The photographer's name is usually somewhere when you hover over the post. You'll usually see it there. You can give credit, but it's not required. You know, if your conscience just, you know, is really aching, I mean, give credit once in a while. So a lot of photographers will upload their pictures because if they do get credit, you know, sometimes that's really valuable to them. So, but as long as you're not reselling the images, they are free to use. So free actually does mean free. So now we're going to sort of get into some of these design platforms. So I'm going to take you to my three favorite. I'm sure if you did a search for free graphic design platforms, I mean, new ones pop up all of the time, but these are sort of my go-tos. So it's PicMonkey, Adobe Spark, and Canva. Some of you are probably already using these. And if you're not, you know, they are definitely worth checking out. So I'm just going to go back to here, and we're just going to check some of these out. So this is Adobe Spark. So, you know, if you're lucky enough and you work for someone who has the whole Creative Cloud, this would definitely be in there. You can use it for free, but it does have limitations. But anything you could think of, you know, you can probably find a template for. So if I look for a Facebook social post, you know, there's tons of different templates. These are really lovely because, you know, if you're using one of these sites and you're using one of their templates, they're going to be modern looking. You know, it's just going to sort of resonate. They're going to be pretty. They're going to be aesthetically pleasing. And you can certainly change some of the elements, you know, in these. If you didn't like the people down here, I mean, you could pop them out and change them. The thing is that when you're using these for free, you'll see that a lot of them have these little yellow badges on them. Those are ones that you have to pay for. You have to have a membership for to use. But, you know, in a pinch, if you just want to go play with it and check it out, it's well worth checking out. Adobe Spark you can also use on your cell phone, which I found really amazing because, you know, if I'm out at a program and I realize, I try to post a program, a schedule post daily, and if I'm at program and I realize, oh no, I didn't do that, I can pull up my cell phone and create a post in like, you know, probably a couple of minutes just using one of their templates. So it probably costs, I want to say, I think it's in the $10 to $15 range per month. So, each of the ones I'm going to show you, they're probably in the same range. So Canva is one that a lot of people are familiar with, a lot of people use. So again, we're going to go to I'm going to go to Facebook post, since we're talking about social media posts. And again, there's tons of free templates, which you can change for whatever purpose you need to change it. And again, all of these elements you see, like the pictures that are on them, and even going to this little line here, all those things can be changed and modified. But Canva, if you're using it for free, is a lot like Adobe Spark. There are limitations. And so if I went, I'm just going to go in here just to sort of show you what I mean. If I go in here and I want to change some of the elements that are kind of on the side, when I go to my elements, I'm going to type in, look for children, you can see that, there's a few that are free, but a lot of them, they have little dollar signs you have to pay for. So you can use this, and if I didn't want to change any of these things, that would be fine. You can use it, but it does have limitations if you're trying to use it for free. So Canva, again, it's probably in the $10 to $15 range per month. It's something, if you're not using it, it's worth checking out to see if it's something you might like to use. But it's, if you're going to stick with it, it's probably worth paying the membership fee for. And the last one I'm going to show you is PicMonkey. So this is one that our agency, oh, did I?
Yeah, you lost your share.
Oh gosh, oh my gosh.
Happened.
How do I do that?
So I think, clicking the green share button again.
The green share button. I've totally lost, I think, all of you here.
So go back to your Zoom screen.
Hang on one second. I'm not seeing my screen, Sydney, so that's the problem. I don't know what I did.
No worries, we'll find it.
I might have to, can I log out and log back in? Would that maybe be easiest? Because I don't see the Zooms. Oh, there, just wait. I see it, okay. So share, okay.
Okay, you found it?
Yeah, I found it. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, no, it's all good.
Okay, so we're back?
We're back.
Okay. So I'm new to Zoom. I'm not new to social media, but I am kind of new to Zoom. So this is one, my agency has a membership to this. This is PicMonkey. So this is a poster I just made today on PicMonkey. Again, there are lots of templates. If I go to, I'm just going to go to templates just to sort of show you. So again, I'm just going to go to a Facebook post, and there are tons and tons and tons of templates. So, and I could even, let's say I want to create a post about winter. I can go to winter and find all of the sort of, winter themed templates, or fall, or whatever your brain could come up with. PicMonkey is not free. It used to be. You can get a 7-day, I think, free membership to sort of try it out, but you do have to put your credit card information in. So again, if you decide to check these out, if any of them ask you for your credit card information, I always recommend, just for checking it out, don't do that. So you can, in each of these, you're able to use their, except for PicMonkey, you're able to sort of check them out and play with them a little bit without doing that. PicMonkey you will. So if you wanted to try it and then you decide it's not a fit, just make sure you unsubscribe, or just say you don't want to subscribe, because they do charge you pretty fast. I do think as agencies, it's really important that we have one of, we buy a subscription to one of these. The cost for an agency is minimal. It's like $10 to $15 a month, $150 a year. And any one of these will elevate sort of your social media game. So it's just, if your agency doesn't already have something, I really encourage you to check each of these out. And you know, play with them, see if there's one that really, really resonates with you, that you find really easy to use, and just you know, encourage somebody to let you get a membership, because these for us have just elevated our game. So we do use PicMonkey across our agency, and there are hubs where you can sort of save things in here. You know, we use these we use this for all kinds of things, even for making newsletters. So I'm just going to like bring up one of a little newsletter that we made on here. I mean, you can just do so many different things with it. So this was a little newsletter that we printed and sent out to some of our communities just so they know where to find us. So it was a two-sided. So yeah, again, if you have, I don't know, PicMonkey is sort of, it's my favorite, but you may find just in looking at them that you like something else. So yeah, well worth checking out. So now, hopefully this will work.
Maureen,
go back. Yes?
before you go on, are you able to articulate why PicMonkey is your favorite? Like, are there a couple of reasons that jump out at you?
Yeah, I like PicMonkey because I find it's easy to navigate. It is easy to customize. I find some of the other ones. Canva is probably, I think with a lot of people, Canva is very popular. There's a lot of tutorials online. If you go to YouTube and look up videos, you know, on how to use Canva, you'll probably find about 1 million videos on how to use it. A lot of people really like Canva. I've always used PicMonkey. I'm just very comfortable in there. I like the graphics that you know, the elements you can add. I don't know, just to us, like, it's like I said, our whole agency uses it. So, and it's, you know, super affordable as well. So, and I've also found it easy to teach people how to use, which is important.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so I mean, I've gone around and taught people in our office how to use it. So, and we have pretty much everybody on board using it now. So the other ones I kind of like, they're more like, you know, it's if I'm in a pinch or if I just want to try something different, I'll use them. But PicMonkey is sort of my go-to. But again, it's different. Everybody's gonna find, you know, I mean, somebody might go to it and just say, no, not for me. And sometimes if you've never used these or you have no familiarity in them, sometimes just looking at them can be overwhelming. But anyway, I just find it's a good one for us.
Great. Also, there was a question posted a few minutes ago from Sarah Miller, and her question is, you were talking about the use of photographs being free, and she asks if someone would use the photograph as a reference photo for art and reference the photographer. Do you know if the art piece can be sold?
Oh, I don't know.
That's fair enough.
I don't know.
So maybe just looking into copyright laws for that.
Yeah, I think on most of those sites, they don't like you using any of the images for profit, is my understanding. So they don't mind for advertising, but if it's for profit, for making money, that's kind of where the issue is. So I'm not sure if that answers the question, you know, or for resale, that sort of thing. But for promotion for an agency, certainly for advertising, but not the image in of itself making profit. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. We've had actually another couple questions pop up. Meg asks about demonstrating editing a template in a couple of ways, if you're able to do that. And I'm not sure if that's more what you're thinking for our part 2 next week, or if that's...
Well, that's sort of, I can certainly, what I can do is just finish this and I'll go back into some and I can just show you really quickly. But that's in our part 2. What I was my plan was to create a couple of photos and have you kind of come with me, join me as we edit them together. But I mean, we'll do a really quick sort of run through today, and then if people want to come back next Friday, you know, we can do a little more in depth. So yeah, it's again a lot of these I find it's going in and playing, like That's really important because there's so much. And you know what, I mean, I know how to use each of these, but there's almost too much to know. PicMonkey, I'd probably be the most familiar with. Canva though, there's so much, and I don't use it that much, but I know the basics of Canva, so like I can certainly walk you through, but I'm sure there's a lot more you can do with Canva than even I'm aware of. So, but I'll quickly run through a couple of those.
That's great, Maureen. And one last thing, and I'll hand it back to you. A question from Lee. If you purchase one of these programs, do you have to pay per user or per organization? Are you able to answer that?
Canva, I'm not sure of. PicMonkey is, they have two options. So there's an organizational one, or there's a per user one. So Canva, I'm not sure of. And Adobe Spark might be, again, it might be a per user or per organization. So, I mean, generally you can kind of get around that because there's usually only there might be a couple of people in your agency doing these posts. So sometimes you can get around it that way, but or be crafty, share a password.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. I'll let you get back to it.
Okay. So these are just some samples of what you can do. So this is an example of PicMonkey. This is with one of their, pre-templates. So it's just we change the information. We like to, and I've just used our daily post as kind of a place that I'm showing you. So every day we put up a post of where we are, and I just try to change them up, based on the season. So this is Adobe Spark. Now I do like Adobe Spark for a few reasons. One of the things I don't like about Adobe Spark is the limitations in graphics. So it's an easy program to use, but they don't give you a lot of choice in the graphics. So those little extra things you want to add, like the little people at the top and the fork and the spoon, they don't give you quite as many options as some of the other programs, but it is a very easy program to use. And this is just a quick example on Canva. So it was, again, taking one of their templates and kind of changing it a little bit. So I think it may have had some skulls, and we just put in a rainbow, and so just some examples. So good design versus bad. So this is where we're going to just talk really briefly. If you're using templates, you really don't have to worry because they sort of keep them very modern and very clean looking for the most part. But I find if there's a lot of people who just really are still stuck in sort of like what's going on in the right, which is, it's a very busy post. It's like your eye is just sort of, if I look at that, my eye is drawn all over the place. There's way too much information. It's again, like we said, in this world where, we look at things really fast and then we move on to the next thing. There's way too much information there for me to look at. Whereas when I look at the one on the left, it's simple, it's clean, it's a nice image, it tells me everything I sort of need to know, and in a simple way. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're designing your posts or your posters. Less is sometimes more, especially in today's world. So step one, kind of when you're making your posts, it's always think of the size. So on each of these sites, you are able to sort of pick the optimal size. If you're making a poster, for example, you don't want to do that on a Facebook post template. You want to make sure that you're doing poster size, because if not, it is a massive pain to sort of change those things. So just, at your starting point when you're creating, make sure you're creating something and that's the right size for what you want. So step two, think of the background you want to use. Do you want to use an image? So we will often use images when we want to put out a message about our program. We want to show our, the children that come to our program in play, because that's important and that just, speaks volumes about who we are. But, on the right, when we're creating a post, that's more about just a scheduled post. We might create a background, for example. So just think, what's the message you're trying to convey? What do you want to have there? What's going to catch people's eye? So step 3, when you go on these sites, there are, you know, a gazillion different fonts you can choose from. It's like, and you know, it's really easy to get font happy because there are just so many different fonts to choose from. But you want to get your message across, and you want to make sure it's, you know, clearly conveyed. So what's the most important thing that you're trying to say? Sort of keep that, you know, the biggest, and you know, the other information a little smaller underneath it. People are probably going to read about 30% of what's on your page, so keep that in mind. Keep the message kind of short and sweet, but get it across. And they say, I think, optimally to use, you know, 2 fonts is kind of the optimal amount of fonts you want to use. I mean, sometimes if you're doing something fun, you might use more because there are some really fun fonts, but generally 2 fonts is kind of a maximum. So, and this is just a visual to just, you know, how is your message being received? So, you know, it's just 3 different examples. If you look at the one in the middle, it's sort of, you know, it's not centered. Wishing you all the best is sort of, that might not be the message I want to get across, so maybe that shouldn't be so big, but it's just to sort of like train your eye to see, you know, the image that's to your left is kind of the most well-designed, well-balanced. The happy birthday is sort of the important part of these messages, and that's what I want to get across. That's what I want to convey. So just something to keep in your brains when you're designing things. And I mean, there are hundreds of design rules, and you know, the beauty of being creative and doing these posts is that you can break the rules all you want as well. So, you know, these are just some starting points and things to keep in your mind. But again, it's the beauty of this is it's creativity, and you know, be creative, but kind of keep these things in your head. So the elements are those things like the fun little graphics, the little hearts, and the little, you know, dots underneath the March Break Play and Learn. The little toy bus. I actually designed, so we actually do have a bus full of toys, and we are the Toy Bus program. And so I actually designed this little bus in PicMonkey as one of our little elements that I like to add. So these are just sort of all the fun things you can add to your posters if you want, just to sort of give them some pizzazz. And step 5 is practice. So it's like I said, you go to these sites and you practice and play with them and learn. I mean, that's kind of the fun. Creating social media posts, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it can be, you know, it's time consuming to create them and create them well. So the best thing to do is just when you have some time, go and check out these sites, practice a little bit, and sort of, you know, see what they can do. So, in speaking to that, what we're going to do, so I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to just open up one of these just so we can kind of check it out and see what it can do. So, I am going to go into Adobe Spark. And let's go, I'm just going to show you really quickly. So we're going to go to a Facebook social post. So again, any of these ones that have badges, they're not free. But I can go to this one and create. So it takes a few minutes just for it to come up. And I live rurally, so my internet can sometimes be slow. So again, if you want to change these, so on this one is a little different than some of the other ones in that when you want to change the words, you double click on it and then type in whatever you want to put in. So, and this is just a really super quick demonstration. So again, if I'm just going to move some things around here so I can see everything. Again, if I want to change the text here, if I don't like this text, I can click on any of these. And like I said, there are hundreds and hundreds of texts. You can change the size by dragging. If I do not like this image, I can replace it. So, and they do, Adobe Spark is linked to Unsplash. So I can use one of those, or I can add my own photo, which I'm going to do just to show you. So and again, it just takes a few minutes, so just bear with me while the magic happens. Oh, I guess this one had 2 images on it. So I don't want that there. I'm just going to put a different image. So this is something you kind of have to just be careful with, seeing if it has one or two images there. So I did not notice that at first glance. I'm just going to.
Maureen, while you're waiting, Megan asked if you're able to upload your own fonts.
I'm not 100% sure. I've never done that, so I'm not 100% sure. So that's something you would want to Google search. I've never done that myself. So okay. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So this one does have, it's like I said, it does have some limitations. I'm just going to show you like the icons in here. So the icons are sort of like the elements I was talking about. So, and again, I'm not going too in depth because next week we'll sort of be exploring these in more detail. So this is sort of your quick and dirty version right here. So again, if you see the elements here you have to choose from, like they're not necessarily the nicest, they're really simple, but again, and you can sort of change the size of these. You can fade them, flip them. You can get rid of this, the little Adobe Spark thing, but then it will take you to this lovely page where they want you to buy a membership. So just know every time you do that, it's going to take you here. Oh, and then I just got it right out of my shoot because that came up. But then, anyway, I'm going to go more in depth with this. I just kind of wasn't prepared for this today.
No worries.
Places,
did you want to show a little bit on maybe Canva or PicMonkey?
No, I will. So that's just a very quick Adobe Spark. It's like I said, it is really limited in the scope of what it can do. And again, using these for free, you do have a lot more limitations than, you know, not using like using a different version. Mm-hmm. So this one is a little different, and just you can change your. You don't have to double click. You can kind of see everything as it's coming up, which I like. So you can play with it a little more. Again, changing the fonts is just a matter of going up to your fonts. Again, there are just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fonts. Some of these, if they have a little crown beside them, you are not able to use them for free. And again, with Canva, without having a membership, and we don't have a membership here for Canva, it's again, I'm just gonna for something here. If I wanted to put in a flower, for example, like, you know, you're very limited in what you can choose. So you can see they have tons of different options with flowers, but a lot of them have the little dollar signs, which means that if you don't have a membership, you're not able to use them. So it is really limited. Without a membership, all of these things are limited, but they can be used. If you're in a pinch, you know, all of these things sort of can be used.
I've been using Canva and for free exclusively, and I've been finding it more and more frustrating now. It's more.
Yeah, it does get. Yeah, it's fun to a point using all of these programs for free, but then it does get frustrating because you're so limited in what you can do. So
I have a question here. Which social media, Deb is asking, which social media platform do you think are more popular? I'm finding that Facebook is not as popular and Instagram is more viewed. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Instagram is probably, I think it depends on the demographic and the people you're trying to reach. So we find rurally, and I think it depends on where you are, we find rurally that Facebook is still the best option for us. And so what we sort of do with our social media, because we work with children, you know, we work with a vulnerable population, we've sort of kept Facebook as our promotion. It's our go-to for promotion. It's our go-to for sharing those daily posts. Parents know, they come to our Facebook, they know where we are every day. We share a lot. We share a lot on the buy and sell sites and on all of our community pages locally, which, you know, does get us a lot of views. Our Instagram, we keep private, and it's for our families only, and our families know that. And so that's where, if we go to program and we have a tablet, that's where we're going to take maybe a video with the tablet and we'll post those images. So if people want to see their children at program that day, that's where we post that sort of stuff. So we've kind of, I don't know, for us out here, we just find Facebook is a good fit for us. And we've continued to grow our Facebook. So it seems to keep growing, and you know, and that might change. It's like, I find every year with social media, things change. And if you, I mean, you know, Facebook is a good starting point, but it's like there are so many different streams of, you know, and ways of reaching people. So, and I think as our demographics get younger and younger, we're really going to have to be savvy with how we advertise. So, you know, video is a really big thing right now, just because, again, those dwindling attention spans, you see more and more businesses kind of like even getting away from using, you know, images and posts, and they're going right to video because, you know, it moves and it kind of holds our attention. So, you know, it's really tough, but I think it kind of depends on where you are and sort of what your intent is. And, you know, and I've noticed across the board, a lot of agencies keep their Facebook private, and they only let in people who are attached to their programs. And, you know, that's something that I encourage every agency to think about, is sort of, you know, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to get people out to your programs? Do you know, is it a good idea to keep them private, or do you want people to know what's going on in your agency? Because that's how you'll, you know, that's how you get people out. So, and that's something that we struggled with here, and we really had to, you know, we had meetings about it, and we really had to think about that, because before our page was a little more private, and we, you know, and I mean, we still screen people. We know when, you know, if somebody's coming from another country and they don't have any friends in common with us, I mean, you know, that's where we might go, okay, well, we might not accept them to our page. We're still wise about it, but, you know, if it's a grandmother, even if we don't know who she is, or someone in our community, we accept them, because word of mouth is really important, especially in rural areas. So
it's a consideration for sure. And there are, you know, one could set up, say, a Facebook group for a private conversation with, you know, particular participants if one wanted, right? Just as a communication tool. So there's a communication tool, and then there's the promotion tool part of it, right?
For sure, and that's what we do with our programs. If we have a specific program and we want to get the message out to certain parents, we set up a group chat, and that's how we reach those, you know, very specific parents. But yeah, our Facebook has changed in that it's purely promotion for us right now, because it's a great tool for promotion. So, and sometimes we'll put those same posts on Instagram, but because we use our Instagram very differently, you know, it's hard to say. But yeah, a lot of young people, I look at my 16-year-old, and, you know, she just thinks Facebook is so uncool because me and all my mom friends are, you know, we're all on Facebook. So I think as those kids start to grow up and have children and, you know, want to use these services, yeah, I mean, everybody might have to look at sort of, you know, just seeing where.
Here's another question for you, Maureen. Deb asks if it's worth using the money to the promotional boost to reach a larger population.
Oh, that's something I think, again, it's probably worth trying. We have done that at our agency. I think it's worth trying. I use it in my own business as a photographer, and I know that every time I boost a post, I get business. People do see it. You can reach a wider audience. Again, it sort of depends if you're in a city. I think it's you know, a great way to probably reach people in your region. We're rural, so the message, you know, does get out around here. Word of mouth is kind of you know, a really valuable asset for us. But I think it's worth trying, especially boosting posts sometimes can be, you know, really inexpensive. It can be a couple of dollars, like sometimes $5 or $10. So depending on how many people you're trying to reach, but I think it's worth trying and just checking your analytics and seeing if it makes a difference. So definitely more people will see your posts who haven't seen it before, and you can really narrow down your demographic too. So for us, we know we want women with children. I mean, that would probably be our target demographic, women with children aged 25 to 40, you know, within a certain kilometer span or kilometer radius. So I think I like that you can really target your demographic, but I think again, it's, you know, you have to play with all of these things and sort of see what works for you. That's kind of my opinion. So, but I know in my own business, boosting posts is gold. Every time I boost a post, I get clients. So I think it's just worth playing with to see.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to just get back to Canva. Again, you can change your background colors. I mean, you're able to, you know, get rid of images and change your images. And again, this is a really quick, if you come back next week, we're going to sort of look at these things in a little more detail. So, and then PicMonkey. I'm going to show you this one because this one is the one you sort of have to pay for to use. And there are, I mean, if you came on this and saw all of this, it might be a little scary because sometimes it's just looking at these, it can be a little intimidating. So I'm just going to load one of these just to show you kind of the scope of this. And again, this one is my favorite just because I think there's so much you can do with it. So again, if I want to change the text, it's like I have hundreds and hundreds of text to choose from here. So I'm going to change it here. And it's just, yeah, it's a click. You're just backspacing and putting in whatever information you want. Now, this is the beautiful thing I love about PicMonkey is that they have just tons of graphics to choose from. So, you know, we're going to stick with the winter theme and look for some, actually I might look for snowflakes. So, and I have just loads of different snowflakes here that I can bring in. So I'm going to bring in this one here. You know, you can change the size, the color. I can change the placement. I can make it fade into the background if I want. There's just so many different things you can do here. If I had a picture, I mean, this one is beautiful because I can also kind of put filters on any of my pictures. They just have tons of different options. So I can touch up, you know, change the exposure, change the brightness. Like this site is nice because it allows you to do things with photos, you know, so your own photos you take. You can add textures to the background. So if I were starting from scratch, it's like I can go through here and I could use a glitter background. And I'm going over this really, really fast because like I said, we're going to be going more in depth to this, but just so you can kind of see just the scope of what this one can do. There are different themes you can use. So let's say Valentine's Day is coming up. So these are all kind of, you know, Valentine related elements I could add to any of my posts. Hearts, they have different, you know, they have fonts related to each theme. So this one is sort of my favorite. This one, like I said, it's my favorite. I love all of the templates they have. They're very modern. And there's a learn button here. So if there's something that you wanted to learn how to do, you click on the learn button and, you know, do a search. And they have a lot of information on here. So I kind of, when I teach this in school, what I tell my students is, you know, Google is really your best friend. If there's something that you are trying to do and you can't figure out, do a Google search. I mean, you know, people have been using all of these programs and people have probably run into all the same problems you might be running into, and a quick Google search will pretty much bring up any information you want. There are tons of YouTube videos on how to use these programs. So It's like if you know you want to explore them, that's a good place to start. But certainly next Friday, the plan is I'm going to create a different graphic on each site, and then we're going to go in and we're just going to kind of walk through in a little more detail how to create the posts, how to sort of copy, duplicate the posts that I made, which will sort of give you a little more, get your feet a little more in the water, you know, and learn how to use these programs a little bit better. So yeah, so that's my presentation in a nutshell. So
Thank you, Maureen. I'm just so appreciative. And before we wrap up, I just want to echo or circle back to, you know, acknowledging that we're having a part 2 next Friday. And if you haven't registered for it and you'd like to, don't worry. I'll be sending an email out this afternoon with a link to register to everybody who participated today. And so you'll have a chance to register if you haven't already. And there'll also be a link to an evaluation for our session today. So I invite you to fill that out as well. This session has been recorded and we'll be archiving it, and that'll be available sometime next week. I'll be letting everybody know where they can access the video, and also a copy of Maureen's slides that she's said that she'd be happy to share with us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, thank you, Maureen.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining in. That was fun. It's easy to talk about something. I have a lot of passion for making things look pretty, so it's easy to talk about.
And it makes it really easy and interesting to listen to, Maureen. I appreciate your passion and all, you know, your experience here. I know myself, you know, with the work I do for the network is often around, you know, promotion and sharing information. So I feel like I learned a lot, and I'm seeing lots of gratitude and love coming your way from the folks who attended in the chat box. So. And I know how busy everybody is. So I extend, you know, Maureen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. And for the people who have joined us, thank you for that as well. So keep your eye open for information on how to register for part 2 next week, and for the evaluation and the archive. I think that's everything. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon. And thank you again, Maureen.
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Take care. We'll be in touch.